You get stale.
Popcorn?
Popcorn.
Popcorn.
You forget about things like stale.
Popcorn.
Popcorn. Stale popcorn.
Popcorn. Pop.
This is the
Stale.
Popcorn.
Hello and welcome to another. Oh my gosh!
I was gonna say, you're recording here. You ready?
Yeah, no, I am. Hello.
Hello,
oh gosh!
And welcome to this week's episode of the Stale Popcorn Podcast. With me, as always, is my co-host, a friend of the show, I dare say, the show, if you ask me, Steve. How are you doing, Steve?
Very good. Very good. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. How's your week been?
Been good. I can't really complain. Been a little biz.
I bet.
Well, you got any announcements for us, Steve?
I got a couple few that I'm excited to talk about. A couple of trailers dropped. I don't know if you saw those. I want to talk about them. First of which is the Gladiator 2 trailer. Did you see that one?
Yeah, Steve, I saw it. That was interesting. What song was that, if I may? Do you have any idea?
I don't know, but I will say in terms of marketing, it might have been a slight miscalculation.
Yeah.
Just because it does not fit the tone of at least the previous movie. I don't know what kind of tone they're going for here. I thought, minus the music, I was like, this doesn't look half bad. It looks actually pretty fun. Have you seen Gladiator 1?
I did a few months back, actually, for the first time.
Did you enjoy it?
I forgot.
Something that's great from coming from this is the comments on the YouTube trailer. Yeah. I got one comment that says, the producers said, we got Denzel, let's throw in a rap song to emphasize the Roman Empire. Another one says, when the rap started playing, I thought Vin Diesel was going to show up in his V8 in the arena. So, I feel like a lot of people aren't on board, but it's just a marketing thing. I feel like just wait for the movie to come out because maybe there's some Travis Scott in the movie, and if that happens, then I'll have some qualms, but...
No, it's Denzel's nephew or something there.
I don't know. But overall, I think it looks pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah, I heard about the trailer because it has more dislikes than likes. I don't know if you heard this.
I bet, yeah.
When I screenshotted it yesterday, 12, almost 13 million views, 110,000 likes, 175,000 dislikes, Oof. 61%.
Jeez.
And it said top comments are complaining about the trailer revealing too much and the song choice. We went from Hans Zimmer to freaking Spotify music. So, yeah. Weren't a fan of the music.
I feel like trailers definitely have gotten a lot worse over the years, too, just in general. So yeah. They got that working against them.
We need that narrator guy. He's probably dead, or what happened to him. We live in a time.
Well, AI, you can bring him back with AI. In a world where Arnold Schwarzenegger was a man.
Yeah. What if you woke up in someone else's body?
In 200 AD, Denzel Washington doesn't even pretend to put on an accent. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
He's like, everyone else has got some sort of... Yeah. My Gladiator.
Gladiator.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I think it looks pretty good.
Did you see the trailer for another film, Steve? Did you?
Which one are we talking?
I'm talking.
If it's the one,
Capitan America.
Ooh, I did indeed. I think this actually looks pretty good. Not even going to sweat it because it looks better than whatever Marvel's been putting out lately.
You're saying it's better than the Immortals or whatever that one was? Eternals?
Yeah. Eternals, yeah. Better than that, whatever that was. Yeah, it looks like in the same vein as your Captain America Winter Soldier, which was one of my favorite MCU films. So I like that kind of political espionage, kind of spy thriller, with sprinkled in a little superhero dust in there. Got yourself a good thing. So
yeah.
The only thing I will say, I'm not totally on board with Harrison Ford. I understand Thaddeus Ross, the old actor. William Hurt died. Tragedy, R.I.P. I don't know. It just seems weird to me having him in there.
So he's playing Ross?
What do you think of seeing the Red Hulk just for a couple of seconds at the end there?
Well, I'll be honest. I missed that part, I guess. I was kind of too long for me. I was dozing off, apparently. I didn't. Red Hulk.
It is a blink and you miss it.
No, I missed that. So Falcon or Capitan America's going to fight the Red Hulk, huh?
I guess, yeah.
Doesn't really seem like a fair fight.
Name? Oh, heavens no. Maybe Captain America will have Giancarlo Esposito, the actor, helping him out.
Oh, yeah.
because he's in there a good bunch. Also, freaking PSA announcement for people who have epilepsy on that trailer.
Ooh.
Just flashing lights.
Yeah.
Jeez, goodness gracious.
I'm
Stylistic choice
curious
gone wrong.
with our friend Esposito, or is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Is he like, what is
That's
he?
him.
He's got like a gun. He seems like a hitman kind of thing.
He's probably a secondary villain.
It just seemed I never seen him in this type of role. Normally he's a behind the scenes
stand-up businessman.
Whatever. But it sounds like he's getting his hands real dirty.
I guarantee you he'll die. He's not coming back.
I mean, he
just
always
a one and done
does,
kind
yeah.
of character.
You got any other announcements here, Steve?
I do, and I feel like this is the most excited I've ever been in my life for a movie. The gods, the old ones and the new, have smiled upon us and granted us life in the form of Shrek 5 to be announced in 2026. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm here all for it, buddy.
Shrek is life, if you
Shrek
tell
is
me.
life. I cannot think of another movie, early 2000s movie, with more cultural significance. It's been, you got to put that thing in the Congress,
capsule,
Library of Congress, time capsules. Oh, yeah. I'm here for it.
Yeah, when
buddy.
are we getting
Super
Madagascar 7 or whatever, or Ice Age 6? One of these coming. We need them all. Bring the band back together.
Yeah, just crank them. They're already doing, I have a list here of 2026 movies. It's the year of the sequels, really. It's part of it makes me a little sad, but
go ahead.
Well, yeah, this one seems a bit more egregious because just a short list here. We got Batman 2, which cool. I'm here for it.
Sure.
Fast and Furious 10 Part 2.
I'm excited for that. X2.
Yeah, Avengers 5. We'll see if that happens. Moana 2.
Okay.
Super Mario Brothers 2. Toy Story 5 and Shrek 5.
Ooh.
Those are the big boys swinging.
One clearly stands out above the rest. And I agree with you.
$1 billion movie that Shrek 5 is going to be. No doubt. No doubt in my mind.
Let me ask you this, Steve. You seen all the Shreks, or which one did you stop your top at, if you know what I mean?
I stopped my top at Shrek 2.
Ooh.
Because those two, sacred text.
Yes.
You grew up with those, great stuff. And I don't want to be tainted with lesser movies. So in my mind, those two movies are fantastic. 5 out of 5. Let's go get them.
Let me ask you this, Steve. Back in when I was youth, before you could not that I'd do it or anything, but now, you can get movies online. There's places to do it for free.
Sure.
But when I was a young lad, we didn't have internet fast enough to watch a movie, let alone download it. This is crazy talk. So what some people would resort to is they'd rent it from Blockbuster. I still don't even know how the technology works, but you'd have like 2 TVs set up, some contraction, and you'd play it on one and then it'd record on the other. Did you ever partake in this situation here? So
do
you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you speak, but I actually had a VHS player that had 2 slots.
Ooh,
Count them, 2.
Wow. Now you're bragging.
Yeah. Oh, well, not to toot my own horn.
What's the use for 2? Yeah, we're just too lazy to pull it out?
It's to do what you just said.
Oh, really? Wow.
Not illegally. We would usually just re-record.
Yeah, gotta watch
copies
another
of our Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Anyways, I wasn't as rich as you, but I remember our family partaking in, or allegedly, doing this. And
Sure.
I really wanted Shrek 2, and I took out my, I saved up 6 months, got my like $4 for my 24-hour rental from Blockbuster, and I'm thinking, all right, let's get in on this. And then that was the day they decided that, they're going to have a conscience, and I just spent like half my year's salary for a movie for 24 hours and didn't even get the finished product. And it's always stuck with me. But I seen up to Shrek 3 myself. Saw it once. I remember thinking it was kind of fun, but never again, I don't think. Yeah, it's been a while.
I think that's all the movie news I got. What you got anything for us?
I got some announcements, and I'm surprised you didn't bring this up. The first trailer for Severance Season 2 has been released.
Wait, what? I haven't seen it.
Really?
No.
And we got a finally release date.
Oh, man. Where have I been?
Well, it's kind of bittersweet here. Releasing on January 17th. Which, I remember I kept seeing like, oh, it's coming out this summer. Oh, yeah, it's coming. It's all done. And then it's not even this year, you liars.
Oh, man. That's rough. Wait, so Severance Season 2. I'm just looking it up.
You want to watch the tray?
It's like 30 seconds.
I haven't seen it, actually. I knew I was forgetting a trailer. All right, I'll watch it right now if it's only 30 seconds.
Let's watch it right now.
Oh, yeah.
With the power of editing, we'll be back.
Wow, what a riveting trailer.
Riveting. I mean, it gets the job done. It's an announcement trailer, so it just tells us.
Yeah, saying the date.
Still really excited for it.
Oh, yeah.
I bloody love that soundtrack, too, man. It's good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I literally used to listen to that on loop at my old job.
All right, that's a little sad.
Just as like a background. No, it really got me into
Sounds like you love your job.
I felt much like Ben Wyatt in Severance at my old job. Going nowhere.
Crying in the parking lot in your car before going in every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Inside Out 2 has passed Incredibles 2 in the box office to become Pixar's highest grossing film ever.
See, that's surprising to me. It's not a bad movie, but Pixar's highest grossing movie ever? I don't think it deserves that award.
It's the third highest animated film gross ever, just past Frozen. So it's really doing its thing.
What Pixar movie deserves that award, in your opinion?
Well, it's not Pixar, but give me Megamind.
You know what? I'll give you that. That's a fun
one.
I like Megamind.
Pixar.
Are you more of a DreamWorks fellow?
Kind of. I mean, I like Megamind. That's
I
remember liking How to Teach Your Dragon How to Fly. I seen that once. Thought that was fun.
That's a DreamWorks as well. They were doing a live action version of that. Do you know that?
Isn't that just Game of Thrones? That would
very good. Very good. Very topical.
I didn't know that. Who's going to play Hiccup? Is it going to be nasally guy himself?
Cera.
Oh, yeah. I'll watch that.
No, would you see Michael Cera?
I could see. I mean, he seems like a Hiccup, if you know what I mean.
He's that one nerd in The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
That's
you know what I'm talking about?
That's the Hiccup guy.
Yeah. They should just get him back as a live
makes
action.
Sense. Jay Burrell Cell or something. Something Jay. Sorcerer's Apprentice. What's your film? You got one, Steve?
Ooh. I love me some Incredibles.
Oh, yeah.
I could watch that day after day.
Well, how about the day after tomorrow?
It's the best. You could do that too. No, Incredibles is the best Fantastic Four movie we've ever seen. That's ever been put to film, in my opinion.
Yeah. Ebon Moss Backrack.
Yes.
Says they filmed 18 episodos of The Bear this year. But guess what? They only released 10.
What's the reason,
are they up to, huh?
What
are they doing?
I'm reminded of that meme of Lalo from Better Call Saul, where he's sitting in the car. He's like, "What is he doing?" Have you seen that one?
I've seen the show. I remember that. Yeah. What is he doing?
Yeah. What is he doing?
Yeah. Maybe he taking a page from our guy Zack Snyder and is like, "Well, I could just make one, or I could make a bunch, make it extra long,
stretch them,
real stretch."
Yeah, really test the audience's patience.
The Penguin and Dune Prophecy are now HBO originals and will premiere on HBO first before arriving to Max.
I thought, isn't Max HBO?
Apparently they're diff.
Chris, as your average lunch pail Joe here, please explain this nonsense to me.
Everyone was confused on the comments too, because they're like, what? It's just Max now. But apparently still got TV channels. You hear these? You remember these?
Like cable?
Yeah. Putting it on cable. I don't know. It's a pretty dumb idea.
What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
So, apparently the first episode scheduled to air on HBO September 8th. And then you'll wait 11 days and then they'll put it on Max. Which... Who wants this?
What's the reason? What are these decisions coming from?
I don't understand. I got a bone to pick with HBO. or Max or whoever, because
whatever they want to be called now.
I'm old enough to remember back in a time where it was called HBO Max. I don't know if you remember that far.
HBO Go?
Was it?
Or
maybe.
I think it was HBO Go was the first one.
I thought it was HBO Max. Maybe it went Go and then Max.
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure.
It's been a mess.
Anyways.
Whoever designed that, just stick to one thing, man.
Something coming. But I remember when it was HBO Max, I was living in a foreign land. So I bought it with the Brazilian currency. Which was like, I bought like a 2-year subscription for like $5, And then I moved to the States here and it's still working. And then they switch it to Max. And then for some reason they're like, it's no longer working in South America. It only works in US because we've made this big change by just getting rid of 3 letters. Now my like 2-year subscription is void. And I never got it since. So I ain't a fan of theirs.
Absolute charlatans and hucksters.
Now, Jack Quaid,
yes.
His relatives.
Dennis.
And?
Dennis's brother who's in Independence Day. It's not Jackie. What's his name?
Who's his brother in Independence Day?
Dennis Quaid's brother. He plays the pilot in Independence Day.
The friend? The pal?
And he's like, I'm back.
You talking Will Smith?
No, Randy Quaid.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
They abused him, not just physically, but sexually. Do you remember that?
Wait,
that's a great line. That's from...
I thought that was part of the news. Gosh.
No, yeah. His mom, what's her name? Woman. She's a woman.
Goldie Hawn?
No, Jodie. I think it's Jodie. Jodie Foster? I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah.
Am I right, or did I finally get you on one of these relatives you didn't know about?
It's Meg Ryan.
Well, close enough. I get the same thing, So anyways, he agrees that he's a Nepo baby. And I'm not talking nepophilia. We're talking nepotism.
Sure.
I mean, maybe he heard it wrong.
Who knows
as well.
These days?
Yeah. Either way, I think this quote works for him. I don't think it undermines my talent, but I also know that this industry is insanely hard to break into, and I had an easier time doing that than most. But. Either, I mean, it applies either way, but
yeah.
It just reminds me of a certain someone. You remember another actress when asked about nepotism?
Are we talking Zoe
Deschanel?
Yeah.
Well, this is how you do it. You all right? Yeah, I got a nice easy, but I still get at my craft. But I understand.
You acknowledge it. Yeah.
I think he did it well. I'm a fan of his. I'm a fan of his dad.
He was great in the Hunger Games.
Oh yeah. He was great. R.I.P. Rue. Godzilla -1 minus color releases on Netflix August 1st.
Is that a sequel to -1?
No, it's black and white. I don't know what these people, they love their black and whites, man. I know you're a big douche for those. Are you going to watch this midnight premiere?
We're all douches who love our black and whites, yeah.
Well, Matt, remember you asked me one of the stupidest questions a man has ever uttered. When you were like, would you watch, I think Dune or Mad Max in black and white?
Yeah.
No, like, am I forced to? Can I watch it in color? Yeah. But apparently this one, as far as I can tell, it's just black and white. But some people are real into that. I think it's supposed to maybe give you more of a 1940s older film or whatever.
Makes sense, yeah.
Redbox, heard of them?
Yeah. It's been years since I've heard their name uttered across my ears.
What,
but yeah.
What was the last time you tapped that box?
Oh, geez. Yeah. Probably a decade.
When have you slid in that box here?
Yeah, no, it's been a while. I'm surprised they're still up, yeah.
Well, you just jinxed them, Steve, because they're officially shutting down now after you said those words. After 22 years.
Wow. Who could have thought?
I didn't know they're 22 years. That means they were kicking in 2002. I never heard of them until 2006, 7, 8.
Yeah, 8, 9, 10.
But it really
11?
was genius. They had a great run, if you ask me, because
we did, yeah.
it made road trips so much better because you could just rent a movie no one had seen, drive across a couple states, throw it in the old other kiosk, and if you're cheap like me, if you could find coupons online, you can get the movie for free inside Redbox.com. Shout out.
Yeah.
Long Legs. Now this movie,
scariest movie of the decade.
Scariest movie of the decade. So a couple weeks ago, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I looked again last week, 91%. I looked today, 87%. So just going down. Audience score, 68%. It's tracking to earn 20 to 23 million in the film's domestic opening weekend. Biggest opening ever for Neon. One of the biggest opening for a horror movie in 2024. Now, Steve.
Probably because it's one of the only horror movies of 2024.
I'm like, what other? Apparently, it's one of the biggest, which means there's a bigger one. I guess Quiet Place, if that counts. I made more. So I heard all this hype, Steve, and I saw the movie.
You saw the movie?
I saw it.
Oh.
Now, let me tell you, whoever this marketing person is, they need a raise. They were like Scarlett Johansson and Fly Me to the Moon, if you catch my drift, because it wasn't that great. It was fine. I don't know. It's kind of like Zodiac mixed with like Hereditary. Silence
of the Lambs?
Yeah, kind of. Because I remember I saw the trailer like a month or something ago, and like a theater, and I was like, it's kind of like Bye Bye Man or whatever those horrors are, you know? But then I keep seeing these, it's so good, scariest movie. I remember seeing something like a clip they did of like, this person watching some scene, their heart rate is at 170, like they're about to have a heart attack. I'm not going to spoil the movie, but the whole time I'm waiting for like, what's this scene with the 170, heart rate that's going to make me have a panic attack in this theater, and it never came. It was kind of eerie or whatever, but I mean, it was fine, but it definitely wasn't, I wouldn't say it was the scariest movie of the decade, I dare say.
Were there more like cheap jump scares, like a Paranormal Activity kind of thing?
A couple. It's kind of, it's like Hereditary kind of, I guess, more of a eerie-ish. There's a couple times, like I think I jumped maybe twice. First of all, I watched this movie by myself in the theater. And
that's a dangerous game.
I get there and I go to the kiosk. Since I'm by myself and I'm choosing the seats, I'd say 75% of the tickets are gone. And you know how there's like a gap of two, and I'm like, perfect, right in the middle. Let me get this one. It's like, nope, you got to have another person here. So like, the only seat I could basically sit in was like right next to some other group here, but there was only a gap of one. And I get there, the movie's at 3:10. I show up at 3:10, and I get there, and the row I'm in, there's just two people. No one else is in there yet, and my seat's like right next to the two people, So like, all right, awkwardly sit down next to them. The whole movie, no one else in the row like shows up, but it's one of those like, I'm already in the seat, but I don't really want to just like sit next to this person. And I'm like, what the heck? The theater said this is my seat, and like everyone else is full. I don't want to like awkwardly get moved away if they show up late. And then anyways, after I left, I realized I was sitting in the wrong row. I was supposed to be upper row. But anyways, it was fine. I wouldn't really. I'd say if you like scary movies, you probably like it. I'd give it like a 3.5.
Is it as good as Hereditary?
It's about the same. Like they're both. I feel like I was more scared in Hereditary, but it's also been years. Maybe I've just become immune.
Let me ask you this: will it have cultural significance in that it has a verb attached to its name? Because hereditary, when I say someone got hereditaried, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So will someone say will someone say in the future, they got long legs?
I will say this: Nick Cage is excellent. He's
Nicholas is in this?
Oh yeah. Who do you think Long Legs
Clutch
is?
My pearls. I didn't know that.
Honestly, like
he's the titular Long Legs.
He's the Long Legs.
That's funny.
He's really good. Like he's impressively good, and I can see people liking the movie. It's just one of those like where the main character just like bugs me the whole time. Yeah, I'd give it like a 3.5. maybe a 3,
Okay,
3 point.
okay.
So like it wasn't bad. I wouldn't really recommend it, but it wasn't one I like regretted. It just wasn't. It wasn't as good as it was hyped up to be.
Yeah.
And the wife saw it,
fair enough.
and she thought the same.
Ah.
I also seen a flick called, well, I guess not a flick, a trailer. When I was sitting in the theater, I saw the first trailer I had seen of Megalopolis. Did you see one when you watched your movie?
I did indeed, yes. Yeah. When I was watching that, I had thought to myself, have you seen those reels where it's like, can't let them know your next move?
Yeah.
It was like that, because I was like, what?
That's exactly
what is happening?
Yeah.
like, I get, you're supposed to create some sort of mystery in a trailer, but I'm like, I don't know what this is. This is incoherent.
I saw it twice, because I saw Fly Me to the Moon yesterday, which we're going to pod on, and then I saw Long Legs today, and both times it had the trailer. And yeah, I'm like, what? I have no idea, like, what type of genre this is even. Like, there's these giant Statue of Americas that
Statues
move.
of Liberties.
And these people, they're like, oh, dancing. You got random Shia who looks young and then looks like they filmed it 10 years later and he looks way older. And yeah, so say what you will. You can't say they're spoiling anything for that.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that looks like
a
mess.
fever dream of a movie.
And they do that thing where maybe it'll make sense if you watch the movie, but when they, at the end of the trailer and it shows the title of it, they show like every other letter and then it adds in the rest. And then they do the same thing with the cast.
Yeah, so for people who don't know what the movie is called, they're like, what is
it's like
what is this? Because it's not a word.
Yeah.
It's not a word. If you're unfamiliar with the
P.S.
Maglopol,
and then it adds it, and I'm like, this still, and then it's like,
this is the worst.
And it's like, for Adam Driver, A, D,
R, V. Like.
So I'm like, all right, what?
Yeah.
So that trailer was
messed
confusing. No idea what that was. And then I've been watching Real Bros Asimi. Been popping that old YouTube
Classic.
on. That's my new treadmill show. I think I'm on season 3. I haven't seen the movie yet, and I was like, maybe I'll just watch the shows. And first 2 seasons you can get through real quick because like first season is probably a total of like 30 minutes. Second season maybe like a little over an hour. And then third season are actually like 20-minute episodes. So been working through that, but it still holds up. I enjoy it. It's pretty fun.
I showed my wife a clip of that, and she was just was
not
blank stare. Was like, what is this?
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, did you see that was funny? And she's like,
he's trying to beat up a baby. Well, all right.
Yeah.
How about you, Steve? You watch anything?
I haven't been watching much, but what I have been getting into, I saw the video game The Forest.
Ooh.
It's on PlayStation Network for $7, so I got that bad boy, and I was playing that for a bit at nighttime.
Is that scary?
And we both love that game because we used to play in college and have a grand old time. So I was looking for chase that feeling again, but playing it alone is a mistake.
Yeah, you scared?
I was like a little girl running through the forest there. But it's fun it's like kind of like Minecraft scary adults,
Kids should play.
But definitely. No, I've just been puttering around with that for a bit, having a good time. But other than that, I haven't been watching much else besides the movie we are going to be talking about. And you wanna just dive into that?
Yeah, let's dive in. We're talking Fly Me to the
Fly me
moon.
to the moon, let me sing. I don't know the words, so.
Yeah.
But that one, we're seeing Fly Me to the Moon, starring Channing's Tatum's, Scarlett's Johansson's, Ray Romano is in there, Woody Harrelson. Who else of note? That's pretty much it, all the big names.
Yeah, I think that's
Anyway, let me read the synopsis here. Sparks fly between a marketing executive, Scarlett Johansson, and a NASA official as he prepares for the Apollo 11 moon landing. What we're going to do is just talk about a little bit, good, bad, spoiler-free, rating, and then we'll get diving into the spoilers. So, Chris, you want to just dive in a little bit, give us a little bit more synopsis of that?
Yeah, basically, they're planning for Apollo 11 for the first time for the astronauts to land on the moon. And so I'd say 90%, 95% of the movie is just leading up to that. Because you got, where are we going to get the money for this? So they bring in ScarJo, and she's kind of the marketing. She's the marketing guru, if you will. And so she's getting, all right, let's get money here. We got to get, this congressman to pass this bill, get us more money, get more funding. And then you got Channing Tatum, who he's in charge of the NASA people, in charge of Buzz, in charge of Neil, in charge of that random
the
third guy that definitely got the shaft, because I didn't even know there was a third man. Why didn't they just let him step out? Just tag like a wrestling match. You got to tag the new guy and let him just put a foot down there or something, man.
Just give us something. Yeah, it came all this way.
Yeah. So it's basically them getting ready for this, and there's a problem here. Oh, we'll fix that. Oh, there's a problem here. And you throw in a little dash of romance.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, what would you rate this movie? Gun to your head.
I think like a 3.5. To me,
very commendable.
3.5 is one of those. I don't regret watching it. If I didn't have, I don't know if I mentioned, I got Regal Unlimited.
You got Regal. I think you mentioned it once or twice.
So I was fine not paying for it, but would I recommend paying money to go see it in a theater? Nah. But it wasn't bad. I mean, if you're into Greatest Showman or based on a true story
Yeah, it kind of rewrites history in a Forrest Gump-esque kind of way.
Yeah. It's from the director of Love, Simon.
Wow, that's all you need to know, I guess.
And the producer of Atlas.
Oh, gosh, dang it.
A mixture of both, if you ask me.
You had me at the first half, not gonna lie. This is really, it's like just a movie. Like it's pretty inoffensive. It doesn't do anything. I'd give it like a 2.5 just because I won't come back at all. Or think about it. Like my wife loves romantic comedies, but it wasn't very romantic, and I didn't find myself laughing that much.
That's
so
true.
I'm like, if we were to sit down and my wife and I were like, let's watch a romantic comedy, this would be like not even in the top 10 of consideration. If I wanted to watch a movie that took place in like the 60s kind of feel, I'd watch like Blast from the Past. Because that's a better movie. Yeah, no, I just thought it was fine. It's like just kind of there. I will say this will probably be your grandpa's new favorite movie. Because I could just in my theater, there were, I think, 12 people, all of which, besides myself, probably safe to say they're over the age of 60. If you do watch this with someone who lived through that, heaven help you, because he'll lean over to you, and your grandpa will just be like, well, Nixon actually was a crook, I actually met Walter Cronkite one time. He let me borrow his glasses, just crap like that, Yeah, I think it wasn't as funny as they made it out to be. There were a lot of low guttural laughs in my theaters, if you know what I mean, just like grandpas being like, some of those. Yeah.
Yeah, this actually got a 68% critic, 88% audience score, which I wouldn't say it's 88, if you ask me.
Oh, heavens, no. Yeah, that's too high.
But I think I gave it a 3.5 because I was like, it was a fine movie. Yeah, I'll probably go down to a 3. Your negativity is really wearing me down here. It's not as bad as a lot of the movies we've watched. It's probably top 10.
Better than a Madam Web.
Oh, it's better than an Atlas.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say this is better than Argyle, if you ask me. I mean, it's probably on par with an Argyle.
Ooh. Yeah, it's probably on par with it. Well, with that being said, you want to just dive into the spoilers? And just full-fledged get into it?
Sure.
Now, Chris, I know this must have been a unique experience for you because they do talk about the moon landing, and the crux of I think Act 2 and 3 are we got to find a way to fake the moon landing just in case they don't actually do it. The government, Nixon's number one honcho is like, ScarJo, we're going to need you to Kubrick this mess and direct it and do all this thing. And so for someone like you who truly believes the moon landing was fake, how was this watch in particular for you?
Well, let me tell you, Steve, when I was leaving the theater, you're like walking out, you got like the little narrow hall. I hear someone behind me pretty loud, like, wow, this movie is like pretty political. And like, I assume he's talking to his buddy or something. And like I'm walking out the door and I like shut it behind me and I hear it like stop and I keep walking. And then a couple seconds later, wow, this movie's pretty political. And I'm like, is this guy talking to me?
Is he talking to me?
And me, my biggest fear is pulling a Peter Parker MJ situation where you think someone's talking to you and they're actually waving at the people behind you. I remember a time back in college, I was just walking back to my apartment and this girl was like waved. I was like, nope, not today. I keep walking and she like says like hi or whatever and like smiles. And like, I was like, I'm not falling for it, you siren. So, and I walked past and I remember she kind of like had like a weird look on her face. And then as soon as I passed her, I turned around and there was no one behind. In her mind, I just like stared at her. I didn't have headphones on or anything. I just stared at her as she was trying to talk to me, and I just blasted through. So, anyways, after the third time the guy said it, I was like, all right, I'll turn around. And yeah, he was talking to me, and he was like, it's actually... Because it kind of takes both sides, they're not saying the moon landing was real or fake, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, I feel like they did definitely say it was real because they had all that stuff.
Yeah, I was just trying to get out of the convo.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they're hinting at it, but they're also hinting that they was a fake setup, which I feel like not great look for that, It was fake, though, let's be honest. You could see the wires.
The shadows are off. Are off.
Anyways, but yeah, it's kind of interesting seeing that. I'm sure this is a movie I want my parents to see because I feel like they could have like a 45-minute dinner conversation about this. And I feel like this, like you said, it's for them older folks that were around. Oh, yeah.
I feel like this movie started off, there were executives in a room, be like, well, let's make a movie about the faking the moon landing. And they're like, oh, okay, but we have to have, a story behind it. We got to have something. And then other execs are like, well, we got to make it, you got to have some big name stars. You got to have some sort of story, romance, maybe. Politically charged. But I feel like it kind of morphed into whatever this is. So I feel like that was kind of the main point of it. And it kind of delved into other things. One thing I learned from this is it must have been really fun to live in the late 60s when the internet wasn't a thing and you could just lie to people's faces without them checking online. Because there's a part where Scarlett Johansson, the marketing executive, decides to do like TV interviews with the NASA guys in front of NBC, but she gets actors instead of the NASA guys because they're all pencil pushing nerds and don't know how to talk well in front of good people, And Ray Romano's like, hey, that's me, and the actor's like, this one's for you, Dad, rest in peace. And Ray Romano's like, my dad's not dead. And like nowadays, you just be like, hey, that, you can look up anyone. So I must have been just having a heck of a time just lying and thieving about just kind of back then. I miss that. I wish we could go back to that.
It's a lot harder to really con people. I thought you were going to say like back in the 60s and 70s where people would just like stop and stare at a screen through like the street window and watch.
Oh yeah.
Like things like that. You don't get those. Nowadays they're like, oh, there has been confirmed extraterrestrial and whatever, man.
Yeah, no.
Trump or Biden, whatever,
Yeah.
So I do got some cons. If you indulge.
I know what the first one is.
You go ahead and
you
tell
grumpy
me.
Old prude. I know it is. Well, because it's 2 hours and 11 minutes.
Michael Rooker or whatever your name is there.
Yeah.
It is too long. You got to admit.
It is too long.
It's too long.
There's definitely some fat you could have trimmed.
Drags. Oh, boy, does it drag. let me go a little more in depth in the plot. If people are listening aren't going to watch it. Basically, it starts off ScarJo. She's like the marketing person, but this is before she gets hired for NASA. She's an advertiser, and she's real sleuthy. She, has a fake belly, acts like she's pregnant. Oh, do this, kind of seducing the guy, whatever. Buy this Mustang. And then Woody Harrelson, who works for NASA, who works for the President Nixon. Richard. He's like, hey, come work for NASA because we want to go beat those Russians to the moon. And you're just the gal to get us all this money. So then she gets there and she does all these things, like what Steve was saying. Oh, get these fake actors. We'll act like this. And then they have to convince all these governors to pass certain bills to give them funding. So then she's like, oh, yeah, get a nice accent, act like she's from the South. Oh, I'm from, New York. I'm from Louisiana, Virginia, whatever. Channing, he ain't about this. He's like, I'm focusing on my men. I'm not a liar. I'm a trustworthy man. And then Woody has, all right, we need you to fake the moon landing. And then they end up doing this thing at the end where, they want us to record the fake landing no matter what. And they're like, but we want to record the moon. So they have to do this elaborate thing where they switch the cameras and all this. My con. So it starts off, the first time Channing Tatum sees ScarJo is just at like a diner. Right before he leaves, he walks up to her and is like, you're the most beautiful woman I ever seen. And, and then just like walks away. Kind of weird, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the next day, she shows up at his work. That's the first time he knows, she's a marketing. And he just like instantly hates her. And where I'm like, but you were just saying, you're into her, and now you just like automatically hate her. It just seems like it really flip-flops. Because it's like, I hate her, and then all of a sudden, so he hates her, and then randomly he's like, hey, we're pals again. And then something happens, and he's like, I never want to talk to you again. And then like 5 minutes later, he's like, hey, what do you want to do? And it's just like a lot of this.
Real snip, snap kind of on and off. Yeah.
And that's just like the whole movie. It turns out that Woody Harrelson becomes a big villain at the end because he's like, you're going to fake this or else you're going to jail. And then he finds out they didn't fake it. And he's like, hey, let me know, that's fine. Next mission, you want to come on? It's just like, it just doesn't really jive with me.
Yeah. Like they really wanted their happy ending, everyone eating their cake and all that jazz. But in reality, if someone were to not directly obey a command like that from old Woody Harrelson, they'd be in Roswell, New Mexico, if you know what I mean. Being whatever they do to aliens.
Yeah.
Which is mentioned slightly in this.
They get abused sexually.
Gosh. Oh, man. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I feel like when they were trying to get those votes from the senators, I was like, let's get going. Could have cut that whole part out. It just like, I don't know, it wasn't very engaging. Maybe just wasn't for me.
Yeah. Kind of the main thing is ScarJo. She's a liar. She's been lying her whole life. Con artist. Channing Tatum, he's a truth teller. And she gets mad at him because he tells the truth. Like some interview, they're like, oh, you're responsible for these astronauts dying. And he mad, like, I know, I live with that every day, yelling at him and mad. And then it's bad for their publicity. And she's like, you just tell a lie? Now we're not going to go to Mars. And
you mean the moon?
Yeah, whatever. I'm getting Rocket Man.
Same thing.
Go to Mars. And then there's a part where they go to a senator's dinner, and he's a real Christian guy, and Channing Tatum's like, I think this is evidence of God, yada, yada, and it works for him. And she's like, hey, you told a lie. And he's like, nope, I told the truth. I believe it. See, telling the truth does work. And you're like, oh, all right, nice little moral here, telling the truth.
Yeah.
And then it's like, she's like, I'm never going to tell a lie again. She kind of confesses a bunch of things, tells him about the fake moon landing. And then immediately they're like, let's do a lie or whatever. And then he's like,
yeah.
And it ends with him telling the lies. And like his lies aren't just like little white lies. There's literally like they're about to abort landing on the moon because like there's some sort of malfunction and there's like a chance, you know, they're gonna die. And he's like, no, yeah, we tested that. It's cool, man. I'm just like, what?
Yeah. It's like a passing lie you would tell to your boss just to save face. But in this case, if it doesn't go through, 3 men will die.
Yeah.
So it's like, geez, you really chose the wrong time to destroy your morals there, Bucko.
I was just like, it just seemed so random. But you got any other cons before I move into the pros?
I mean, you pretty much nailed it on the head. Again, it's going to be your grandpa's new favorite movie to watch. Not quite our cup of tea, I guess. So if you're looking for a movie this weekend to watch, just maybe watch Longlegs. Would you recommend Longlegs over this one?
I don't know. They're both kind of the same. I feel like...
They're kind of the same?
Yeah, I mean...
Is that what you said?
Rom-com, Nick Cage... They're even level. They're very different movies. I will admit they're a little different. I'd say this one is easy going.
Yeah.
It's not really funny. I think I chuckled a couple times. I probably laughed more in Longlegs, but I don't think those are supposed to be funny, if I'm being honest. But it's Nick Cage going savage here, man.
That's all I got for it.
I did like Jim Rash, is that his name?
Oh, yes. Ding, ding. He was probably the dean from Community.
He was pretty good. He was funny.
A bright star. He plays this really just gay director. Yeah. And it's not derogatory because he's gay in the movie, but he kind of is the director of the fake moon landing, and he's very eccentric, and it's quite fun to watch in a sea of just blandness. He's stands out as fun.
Yeah, so. I'd say his scenes are pretty good. I enjoyed him. I guess that's my main pro is it's not a bad movie. I don't regret watching it by any means. It's just kind of a put on the background kind of movie, if you ask me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's about it. All I got, Steve.
Well, that's all I got, too. That's pretty much it. But if you guys are still listening, thanks for listening. Blessings on you and your households. I think next week, I'm excited because I think we're going to watch Twisters.
Ooh.
Look out for that. And also, feel free to join our Facebook group or follow us on LinkedIn and Instagram, Twitter, all that jazz. Did I say LinkedIn again?
Man, you really want a business partner. You really want to connect.
I guess. Sorry, it just slips out.
Follow us on LinkedIn. Let us know any job postings in your area. Do we got a what do they call it? Glassdoor? Or what is that other one?
Oh, where they review the companies?
Yes.
Yeah, that's Glassdoor or Indeed or one of those.
Yeah, add us on Indeed. Farmers Only. We got one of those.
We can get
Christian Mingle. We on there?
Yeah.
Black Planet.
We can get a Bumble. A what?
Black Planet? Isn't that
Black Planet? I don't know what that is.
That was a thing.
No.
Anyway. Farmers Only.
That's all we got.
Yeah, that's all I got. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Popcorn. Pop, 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 pop.
This is the stale popcorn.
Popcorn.